Hello everyone, and welcome back to the series where we're building a web app that can do everything. Don't forget to comment a feature you want to see implemented in the next video. It doesn't matter how small or silly or ridiculous the feature is, just leave the comment below. So firstly, shout out to everyone who commented. One thing I will say though is, the more detail you can write, the better I can implement it, and the better I can understand you also. So there wasn't a clear and obvious winner in the comment section this time, so I'm just going to make a executive decision. So we're going to start with Dodo Quack's idea, just because I know that they've been subbed to the channel for a while, and I think it's a good place to start. If there's still time, I am going to move on to Zach Chip's comment also. Now just quickly before you get bored, remember this is not supposed to be a tutorial series where we implement everything perfectly. We're supposed to be building a monstrosity of a web app that can do absolutely everything, and once I meet the basic criteria of what your comment says, we're going to move on. Cool, so we're going to begin with a simple to-do app with a custom admin, and then we're going to display them graphically. That's it. So we set up a basic Django project in the previous video. What we want to do now is create an app for all of our code. Now, I don't really like using apps in the way Django recommends. I tend to just build one app, and that's where we're going to put all of our code. And I think as far as this project is concerned, it's a really valid approach, because we could be trying to do so many different things that we could argue all these separate things would go in different apps, and we could end up with hundreds of folders, which I think is worse than just having one folder with all of our models and all of our views and all of that stuff. So I think the name main is appropriate because it's going to have most of our code. I think at most I can see us making like an API app for Django REST framework at some point, and like some front-end folders. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all of these Py files, and then I'm going to create folders in their stead. So like an admin folder, an apps folder, a models folder, etc. And then we'll put the respective Python files in those folders. Okay, so what we've done is we've created these folders, and we've just deleted these files for now. Cool, so we'll want to go to our settings file and find our installed apps, copy and paste that in there. So we want to make sure that all of these folders are treated as modules, and the way you do that is just by copying in a init.py file. So we can just do paste, 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 and I think we're good. Cool, so in our apps folder, we've created an apps.py file, and this is just like the normal setup for this, as you would do if you're following the official tutorial. Then we want to go back to our settings. We have added an extra layer because it's actually in a folder called apps, in a file called apps, and then we've got the main config in there. So we've created a models file called to-do-models in our models folder. This is going to be for the to-do app, of course. It's a small model with only 3 fields, but again, I'm trying to do as little as I need to based on the comments. So I actually tried running make migrations main, but that didn't do anything. I changed this file from to-do-models to to-do_models because I'm not actually sure that we can import it if it's a dash. So the first 2 times I actually tried to run this make migration, it failed, and that's because we needed to do something first. Basically, we just needed to import it into this init file to make it available from the module. So now we can actually run python.manage.py migrate. Cool, that's created that. Nice one, so we've got our model. So the next thing we want to do is make sure that model appears in our admin page. So in order to do that, we basically just need to grab the model, which we've done here with this import, and we've created this admin model, again, the same way you would see in the official Django docs. And I've got a couple of fields where we can filter and search, and we're displaying all of the fields. I've also imported it into here, again, just to make it accessible. Before we can view it, of course, we need to create a super user. Okay, we've created the super user called admin. And Django didn't like my password, but that's just because I made it too simple, but it doesn't really matter too much. The other thing is we did have an issue, which was saying that the value of list filter and search fields need to be a list or a tuple. So to fix that, I essentially just added in an extra comma, which fixed it. So we just start our server, sign into our admin, and hopefully that worked. Lovely, we can see that we've got our model, and we can interface with it in our admin interface. If we go back to our comment, it said, simple to do with custom admin, which I think is what this is, and then graphically display them. So all we want is basically we're going to put data in here, and save that. That now needs to be displayed in a view. So before we make our view though, I quickly created a file called todo.html in templates/main, which again is just Django's recommended way of doing it. This might change over time, but I'm going to leave it like that for now. Then we've added a simple function-based view. All we're doing is grabbing all of the objects from our to-do model, and then we're rendering them in the to-do.html, in which we've not really put any code yet. So all we want to do now is display that. Okay, we've got a really simple HTML file. All we're doing is we're iterating through the to-dos, and then we're displaying the title, description, and completed, and then we've got some logic here just to make it a bit nicer. Okay, one thing I've just realized we've forgotten is URLs, so let's do that also. Okay, so the base URLs I've updated to be like this, so we want at the root of our document, we want to be pointing towards our main.urls, which we now need to create. Okay, so this is what we've done. We've imported our view. So same as before, basically in this views folder, we created a view, init.py, we import that view, which allows us to import it into urls.py. That's just a Python thing, not a Django thing. And we've created this path list-to-do, which will hopefully point us in the right direction. So I guess we can try that out now. Actually, there was one small issue. We had a slash like this, which was wrong. I needed to remove that, but that made everything work. Okay, I think we're complete. That's our terrible to-do app. However, we have addressed the comment, and that's all I'm ever going to do. So the more description you give me, the better. So remember, the comment was simple to-dos, which graphically displays them, and a custom admin. So Django built an admin should be kept. So the way I've interpreted that is that we want to be able to essentially interact with our to-do list through the admin, which we've done, and all we want to do is actually display the results. Is it awful? Yes. Actually, I felt a little bit bad, so I just decided to update the HTML code just a little bit so that we have Bootstrap and everything just looks at least a tiny bit nicer. But again, that's going to be it for this video. This is the only feature we're going to be implementing. Whatever you want implemented next, just leave your comment below and I will get on it. Try and stick to the rules, don't be too vague, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. The more detail, the better. If you want, we can continue from this. If you don't want, we can just do something completely different. Just let me know. Yeah, thanks for watching.